welcome to the Daily Dust on the Arrakis News Network, reporting to you live on exciting stories on an otherwise dry planet. I'm your anchor, Ken Bonobi. But first off, let's look at our economic situation with our lead economic reporter, Marcus Flynn.
Thanks, Ken. Tonight on the Arrakis News Network, let's look at one of the biggest things we see every day: water. We all need it, but not everyone has it. And many were concerned that the transition of power to the Atreides would leave even more people out in the dust. Fortunately, though, the new family will be installing extra dew collectors and wind traps to offset their impact on Arrakis' water supplies. Much to the anger of the locals, though, our new Duke has planted a new grove of date palms, making many question this waste of water. With spice prices, though, we've got some bad news. The factory was destroyed by a sandworm when the carryall responsible for bringing it home suddenly vanished. Harkonnen sabotage is suspected. Thanks to a quick thinking from Duke Leto, who was visiting the factory during the incident, every worker on the rig made it out alive. The current price per decagram is 620,000 solari. This price is not projected to change until 9 years from now, when the Empire, houses, and the Guild come together to decide the new price of the Solaris. In other news, the recent power from the Harkonnens to the Atreides has allowed smugglers to circumvent the Chum Company's monopoly. It isn't looking so good for those with chum stocks, but anyone involved with the smuggling business is set to make a killing. This so-called monopoly arose from the market economy on Arrakis. As one knows, the Empire is very aloof to us and leaves us to be in our own conduct of our own trade in the way we want it. Back in the day, over 8,000 years ago on Earth, this was not the case. The government actually took matters into their own hands and broke apart monopolies. Think of that. What kind of despotic, totalitarian system are we using? On Arrakis, people are free to make their own choices. We don't need a government to regulate our water shippers or spice miners. The free market takes care of that. I apologize for my outburst. I went overtime on my rant. Now back to you, Kent.
Next up, our political correspondent, Jim Kay, will update us on the power situation with the switch from Harkonnens to the Atreides family.
Thank you, Ken. Yes, Duke Leto and his family, the new ruling power to Arrakis, has now moved in. Most of you are by now familiar with the posters and writings announcing his new position, which has started much controversy. This has been due to many labeling these as propaganda, though with his recent heroic actions saving several spice gatherers, public opinion is pretty much split on the subject of the Duke. But as for now, we all know that after the Harkonnen reign, that what we think does not matter. If we don't like Leto, who cares? Not like anybody has a say.
Now we go to Scott Pierce, a new member of the team, with an interview with the brilliant young heir to the Atreides family, Paul Atreides. Take it away, Scotty.
Still suits really. Hey Ken. Yes, that's right. We're here interviewing with Paul Atreides. Still moving in, as you can see. So tell us, Paul, what do you think of your new home on Arrakis?
Well, it's very different than from my homeworld of Caladan. Like, water here is so scarce, and people need to survive, making the demand greater than the supply, making it a really economic resource.
Interesting.
You know, my father is going to make it so that everybody can have enough water on Arrakis.
Wow, you sure see a lot, Paul. That must be that Ben Gerstein trading. So I heard something interesting. Apparently on your home world you can die from too much water. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's called drowning.
Huh, interesting. Drowning. That's right, ladies and freemen. You heard it here first. Now, so around here you might have noticed the locals might be calling you Mahdi. Tell us, what do you think about that?
Well, I've sensed this purpose lately. I'm not really sure what it is, but it might be this Mahdi thing. You know, whenever I talk in public, that some Fremen recite some of their poetry or prophecy or something. I think that's for sure.
So, have you experienced anything in this new home? What do you think of it? Any interesting stories?
Well, one time I was sleeping, and then this hunter-seeker thing came out.
No. Stop. No more.
It looks like we lost our signal with our interviewer. This concludes our segment, so this is the Daily Dust signing off. Arrakis News Network, the Daily Dust. Your inside look into water, spice, and everything nice. Hello and welcome to the Daily Dust on the Arrakis News Network, bringing you live with exciting stories on an otherwise dry planet. I'm your anchor, Ken Bonobi, with breaking news on a huge shift in power. As many people know, the Harkonnens have seized power once again and have practically exterminated the Atreides from this planet. Unfortunately for us here at ANN, with our Atreides-friendly broadcast, that means we've been forced out of our studio for the time being. Now let's get a hold of our lead economic reporter, Marcus Flynn.
Hello? Hello, is anyone there? Ken? Oh, hello. Alright. Tonight on the Arrakis News Network, we'll look back at one of Arrakis' most valuable sources, water. That's right, folks. Recently, looking at the overthrow of the Atreides house, the Baron has re-implemented the much-dreaded water tax. That's right, folks, the water tax has returned and it is at full blow. Water will now become even more scarce as we have information that even wild freemen are taking the lives of wanderers in the desert just for the water. Isn't that tragic? Following the attack on the Atreides house, we can now begin to see a forecast of new taxes, higher quotas, and longer work hours for the workers of Arrakis. We are literally squeezing Arrakis out of all the spice. Could this be directly correlated to help supply the newer, stronger force of the Harkonnens?
Here we have a simple diagram, ladies and freemen. So here we have our simple spice. And yes, it's quite nice for us, yes. Moving on, the spice is owned by the guild. And the guild owns the galaxy. Now, if you control the spice, you control the guild. And therefore, you control space travel in the galaxy.
In other news, chum stocks have completely tanked. If I were you, I would still get out while I still can. The key word of today is short sell, short sell, short sell, people. Smugglers and anyone still involved in the smuggling business are still making a killing. What's that smell?
Thanks, Flynn. Now here is Jim bringing you some actual footage from the takeover back when we had an official studio on Arrakis.
Thank you, Ken. Now, for those unaware of the story so far, the royal family of the Atreides was overthrown almost overnight. Behind me is Duke Leto, captured by Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, the new leader of the planet. Along with the Duke Leto's capture, almost everyone associated with him disappeared almost overnight. Some of the soldiers were reported found in the slave pits, and his family was last seen left in the middle of the desert to die. Now, as you can see behind me, Duke Leto is not responding to any of the questioning. Oh, yeah, there was a gas. Back to you, Ken.
That was a few days ago. As you can see, the Duke Leto is now dead, and his mistress and son are also reported dead due to a monstrous sandstorm. In other news, on Gidi Prime, the Harkonnen Nay Baron Fade Rowla has just turned 17 and has just killed his 100th slave gladiator. The gladiator was special in that he was actually battle ready and was a former Atreides soldier. However, the Nay Baron still succeeded due to trickery. Now to Scotty, our Fremen correspondent.
Hello, I'm Scott, the Fremen correspondent. I'm here with a Fremen willing to talk with us. He goes by the name of Deeb. So tell me, Deeb, how are you?
Doing fairly well. Just kind of thirsty, but other than that,
Right. Being a Freeman and all, maybe you could tell me a bit about this place.
I'm not a Freeman.
Oh, totally forgot to look at your eyes. They're not really blue, so it must be an off-worlder. Interesting. So as you can see, there's some shrubs around. What's that about? Are you guys like terraforming or something?
They're actually terraforming the southern hemisphere.
Oh.
They're actually paying the guild a lot of money, not actually in spice bribes, not to orbit satellites to catch their.
Interesting. Now, that's something you don't hear every day. So, besides the Southern Hemisphere, I mean, and these still suits, how are you getting by? Like, where's everybody? Where do you guys come from?
Well, I'm actually new to this whole thing. So is my mom, but like we just got into the tribe. I killed a guy that thought I shouldn't be in the tribe, and my mom took this like water of life or something like that, and became the new Reverend Mother.
Reverend Mother, wow, water of life. We are just learning things here today, folks.
Yeah, the water of life is pretty interesting. That it's like it comes from a dead sandworm, actually.
Interesting. So you guys have like a whole like ritual thing behind sandworms and stuff. Are you guys like connected at all to these things, or because they're pretty scary? Like, I don't know, like they might be around, pretty making me nervous.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I told you too much.
Oh,
Worm sign.
what's worm sign? Wait, come back, we're not done. Hey!
Scotty. Well, folks, he gave it all he's got. This concludes today's broadcast of the Daily Dust. Ken Bonobi, signing out. Hello and welcome to the Daily Dust on the Arrakis News Network. Reporting to you live with exciting stories on an otherwise dry planet. I'm your anchor, Ken Bonobi. Due to some recent problems with sandworms, storms, and other events, I will be your political correspondent, economic reporter, and weatherman. The Harkonnen reign appears to be finally coming to an end. Ladies and Fremen, now that a new religious prophet has rallied the Fremen forces to beat even the Imperial Sardaukar. He goes by the name of Muad'Dib, and we had a brief interview with him almost 2 years ago, right before we lost Scotty. Rest in peace, my friend. In other news, the weather of late has been absolutely manic. As you can see here, a sandstorm has been used by Fremen forces in the latest battle to help them take back the city of Arrakis. It's recommended to stay indoors while you can. Lastly, our economic outlook is much brighter than it has been for the past several years. With the balances of power finally leaving the Harkonnens, some experts are projecting that our economy will return to the strength it had during the short but wonderful Atreides ruling period. This sums up this episode of the Daily Dust, ladies and Fremen. Remember, the Arrakis News Network is still hiring and has excellent employee plans.